Hello, my name is Shay, and I'm going to be talking about my experience at Kartmania. This is my first ever Kartmania experience, and it was a lot of fun having the practice day and the race day separated, including a lot of food and the experiences after the races or the practice. It was so much fun. Love to do it again. But this one was pretty interesting. We had a rain race rather than the full course race. So we cut the track in half and we put on our wet tires. It made for some pretty interesting events as a lot of people had different tire brands. But this really being my first ever really rainy race, it was quite an experience. As you can see on the front straight, people are spraying up water like crazy. I mean, I didn't have any Rain-X on my visor for the practice event, which was definitely not the smartest move. The lens on the GoPro really represents that because it doesn't have any Rain-X on it either. So it made for some interesting visuals. But during practice, I unfortunately dropped my chain, and this starts the issues of this weekend. So this was a practice race or a practice on Saturday, and I dropped my chain going over one of the bumps that a lot of people have issues with. I have issues tightening my chain. I'm still getting used to making sure that's right. And this is probably the biggest mistake of the weekend. I end up pulling the cart off the track, and unfortunately someone ends up hitting it. So it results in a spindle and a tie rod, bending, and we had to bend it back and get a new tie rod. And then when doing so, I noticed that my frame or my seat mount was broken. So we found someone on track with a welder, which still is unbelievable to me, and we got it welded back. So I managed to get everything fixed up for the race the next day, which is still mind-boggling to me. But I get on track for the Le Mans start, which was another new experience for me, and I really struggled with it, as you'll see in a moment. I completely blow the start. Everyone walks past me, and I end up starting in 23rd. The people that started behind me swapped to a different tire because there was an open tire this race, and a lot of people had issues with some of the tires that were provided. We had a hard time getting new tires a little while ago, so people were allowed to use those tires that they had previously. We're now all running LeConte whites, but in this race, it's completely open tire spec. So with that, I really didn't want to get stuck behind any other people because I couldn't tell what tire they were running when I was on track. I just saw that someone might be slower than me, so I had a high focus of just making it past them. The ideal tire here is believed to be the Bridgestone, which we will not be running anymore. We will be running LeConte whites, which they seem pretty good as well. But a lot of people were running LeConte purples, which I heard were abysmal. People did not like those whatsoever. So I'm pretty glad that I had Hoosiers, which nobody else had, but they felt pretty nice. I was really happy with them. I was able to put down consistent lap times, and I just was able to focus on my race with them. I didn't have to worry about like understeer really, or it didn't really feel like I had to worry about the rain. It felt like I was just able to drive, which was awesome. I mean, it was pretty good. I was happy with it. See, like, I'm able to go by these people because it felt like it's because I had the better grip but it still wasn't easy to try and get by people. As you can see, I believe this is Elias. He put up a pretty good fight, and he wasn't on the ideal tire at all. He was pretty bummed about it. If you've ever seen his POV, he wasn't too happy with the tire choices, but he's going to be pretty happy about the spec tire next time if we get another rain race. Hopefully not, we'll see. But it made for some interesting racing. I mean, I went off track there, I'm sorry. I was trying to focus on not following people, but as a rookie, I end up following people. I'm trying to work on it, and I'm glad that I had a high focus of not doing that this race, because I really just needed to stay away from people, because I didn't know their tires, so if I stuck behind someone, I could have some pretty decent issues. So like I would have been able to use the tires to my fullest. So I tried to stay solid and focus on my pace. Now I'm actually going to be quiet for a little bit so I can just let the video play out, but I'll see you guys in a second. So after making up these last few positions, I had a lot of space in front of me, so I thought it would be a perfect time to go through a lap of this track. So to the left side of this track, there was a really dry spot, so I stayed there and managed to apex that turn and hold a lot of speed through here. This next turn on the inside, it felt like there was so much grip, so I always tried to smooth out that line and make sure that I was cutting through the inside, because I was able to hold on to as much grip as possible. These few bumps got me really nervous, so right after this bump I'd be on the brakes and I'd try to hit both apexes right here. And if I could, it made for a really solid lap, and I felt like that was the strongest position that I had. And as you can see, I've made up a good amount of distance on the guys ahead of me, so I'm going to cut to where I'm really close to them and still trying to hit those apexes, as you can see. But I am climbing up closer and closer to these guys, and I end up having a very strong battle against everyone here. I decided that, hey, I'm at my pace here, and it seems like these guys are really consistent with their pace, so obviously I'm trying to look for passing opportunities, but this area proved to be way more difficult than I thought it did. So cutting ahead a little bit to when I join up with the two guys ahead of me. This was probably my most competitive battle so far, and it was very fun. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was trying to find small little openings of where I could make passes and where I couldn't. And they were really making it difficult. I believe. So right here, know that I was trying to take it up through the inside, and I shouldn't have, because the outside was drier and had more grip. So I'm just trying to find those small windows where I can really catch up. I actually lose front grip there, and I completely lose the front. And that turn two started posing a few problems for me, because I don't know if it got more wet or something, but I just struggled with understeer there. So through this next few turns, I end up getting a lot closer, and I try once again to go through the inside, and it really doesn't work out for me. I almost hit him. I may have actually, but I made sure I was really trying hard to not have any big spins or incidences. So I'm really glad that didn't turn out to be anything too big, because man, that would have been a real bummer to the end of this weekend. So I'm gonna cut ahead a little bit again to where we're starting to get close. Once again, we're gonna go almost 3 wide into turn 1. I make contact. I'm almost 100% sure I made contact there, but thankfully we didn't have any issues or incidences. I have a really strong turn 2, and I make my way back a little bit closer. And it's just a matter of trying to stay on the bumper of the guy ahead of me and just keep pushing, keep trying to fight for those positions. And I believe it is this next front straight where we get really, really close. See, I go for the outside finally. My dad and another racer, Alex, were like super happy that I managed to seal the deal on the outside, and I actually make the pass. And in my head, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh man, I finally made that pass. I just need to focus on the guy ahead of me, and I have a slight spin, and I completely lose my momentum, and the guy behind me just walks right past me through this next turn. I hit my braking zone. I know he's to the right of me, and I have to let him by. I maybe could have fought for position there, but it was going to be a real struggle. And I wasn't going to risk losing more places just because of one place. And maybe I should have. Maybe it was a good idea to not fight through that turn. It was a chicane. It probably would have applied a lot of pressure. Don't know if he would have backed out or anything, but in the end I do end up making up another position. And then in my head, I'm just trying to focus on catching up to the guy that passed me, and just have laser focus, just try and catch up to him. And I end up working up pretty close to him, but the track's drying up a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of a different reading on everything, getting really close, maybe braking a little too much, and I end up losing out in the end. This is the final lap, and I really think that if we had another lap, maybe I could have pulled one last maneuver, maybe I could have made that position, but I end up having a really close finish, but it just wasn't meant to be. I didn't end up finishing up ahead of him, but I really can't complain, honestly. I end up finishing in 10th from 23rd, and I'm super happy about it. Now, if you guys want to check out the previous video, I'll link it up right now. And I want to say thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I know it's a little cringy to say that, but please do it. It really makes me happy. And I will be covering my next race, which is in a few weeks, unfortunately. But I will be recording that and then uploading it. So it should be pretty interesting. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.